the Chicago Blackhawks. And just like in Toronto, or with Toronto, the Chicago votes were all over the place. 7 different Blackhawks received votes, with Jonathan Toews edging out Patrick Kane, Stan Mikita, and Bobby Hull. So Jonathan Toews, the face of the franchise for the Chicago Blackhawks. All 3 of us were on different players here. Craig, you had Toews. I had Kane. Johnny, you had Jeremy Roenick.
That's right.
Jay, are we playing a video game here? Are we talking about the face of the franchise?
Yes, thank you very much.
Okay.
We'll get to it.
Okay, so tell us, why do you think it was such a free-for-all, Craig? Like, why were there's so many options here in Chicago, and why did we land on Toews in the end?
Well, there was great players. We're talking about Hall of Famers. I mean, Kane and Toews are going to the Hall of Fame. And I voted for Jonathan Toews because Chicago Blackhawks were in dark days. Jonathan Toews came, we called it, Captain Serious and everything. But he was another player that came in there, and he was serious about winning. And he took it on his shoulders to say, I'm going to be the leader of this team. And 3 Stanley Cups, and in times where the Chicago Blackhawks were a non-entity in the league. You go into the building, 5,000 people in the building. Jonathan Toews turned the fortunes of that franchise in a significant way. There was others. I'm not going to suggest that, but that's why I gave Jonathan Toews my vote.
It's all correct, obviously. Yeah. But he shared that responsibility with a lot of great players. Yes, he was the captain, and yes, he was, I guess, the figurehead. But Patrick Kane was the sort of showman to his seriousness. Yep. And he had Keith, and he had Seabrook, and he had Crawford, and he had Oduya and Chalmers. Patrick Sharp, Hossa. They had everyone to help him along. My guy was rolling solo. Jeremy Roenick, and it's not about being the greatest player or the one with the most success. It's the guy I think of when I think of Chicago. And some of it's related to that stupid video game that I played for hours and hours.
And he was unbelievable in that.
In high school and into university. And the way he brought entertainment to hockey and to Chicago was unique. And so for that reason, I think, yeah, he was the guy until they started winning later.
He was the original Showtime
before Showtime.
He was Showtime before Showtime. And I think you're right. But I went with Showtime, Patrick Kane. First overall pick. You're right that Toews got there a little bit before, and there were dark times, but that first overall pick, that's when you knew it was going to pop. He was the one that scored the Stanley Cup winner. No one knew it was in but him. But he knew it was in against Philly, and he was going nuts. And just the personality, the reaction, right? We've seen it recently, Kane going back through Chicago. We saw Toews go back through, too, and it was, obviously, the roof was popping off. But there's something about a first overall pick, winning the Stanley Cup on your stick, Showtime, Chicago, Patrick Kane. Patrick Kane.
Can't argue with there. And Stan Mikita.
Yes.
Now, he's before, maybe I was even born, but legendary stories about him and how great a player he was.
How tough he was,
in a time where it was hard to be Stan Mikita in the NHL and not have to be ridiculously tough as well.
Pat Quinn once told me a story. He waited 13 years to get him back. Stan Mikita got him. He said, I'll get you back. He waited 13 years to get him back. But the fact that Mikita got Pat Quinn says a lot about Stan Mikita. All right, let's welcome in our TSN hockey contributor, Steve Dryden. All right, there he is. Steve, do you agree with this? Jonathan Toews being the Blackhawks' face of the franchise.
Absolutely not. I mean, I think you can debate it, but you really can't quarrel with it. But my face of the franchise is really the correct one. It isn't Jeremy Roenick. It's Glenn Hall. I mean, he was a standing player. He was the face of hockey, the face of goaltending in the original 6 era alongside Plant and Terry Sawchuk. He originated or pioneered the butterfly style. He was the goaltender of record in '61. He served the Hawks with honor and distinction. A 6-time first or second All-Star with them. He really was something special. And it was the Iron Man streak, of course. 502 straight games. Started with Detroit, ended with Chicago. 350-plus straight games with Chicago. But really, it was mentioned earlier about Gordie Howe. There are really only 2 people who have the ultimate honor distinction in hockey, I think, and that is their nicknames. That's Gordie Howe, Mr. Hockey, and Glenn Hall, Mr. Goalie. And I think that says it all. And I do believe that you can add another title now as Glenn Hall, the face of the Chicago Blackhawks.
A part of my ignorance, I didn't know his nickname was Mr. Goalie. So I'm just saying, Steve, you may say his nickname's that, but if I don't know it, and I'm 50, and I work in hockey, I'm not so sure he was. And again, it's not about being the best player. The face of the franchise, and the stats you rolled out, maybe the best player, but I don't know if he's the one you think of when you think of the Blackhawks now.
Well, he was the face of it.
He had to be the face. He was the face for 552 straight games.
Absolutely. He was among the maskless marbles. He was one of the last of them to wear a mask. I mean, he really was something special in distinction. And by the way, Jeremy Roenick was a wonderful hockey player. He played But I do think that Glenn Hall is served the most honor and distinction, and at the highest level.
All right, Steve. Thanks. Good seeing you. There he is, Steve Dryden, making a push for Glenn Hall. Unfortunately for him, it's Jonathan Toews, who is the face of the franchise for the Chicago Blackhawks.